That's exactly what I'm saying, because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their attention, and they're not as talented, we're not putting the best team out.
This was after Molly was live on air, saying that Caitlyn made a mockery of the women's sport. She said that Caitlyn downgraded the quality and was only being talked about because of her engagement with fans. Meanwhile, the Fevers just lost out by 1 point to the Mystics last night, in which was the largest attended game in WNBA history. The Washington Mystics moved tonight's game against Caitlin Clark to the nearby NBA arena and ended up setting a new all-time WNBA attendance record. It's impossible to overstate what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA. Simply incredible. Just look at that attendance. Caitlin Clark has become a household name, filling stadiums and captivating audiences across the country. But why are some sports analysts, including ESPN's Molly Karam, claiming that Clark's incredible skills are downgrading the sport, even when the numbers suggest otherwise? Caitlin Clark continues to put up insane stats every game. Questions about her impact on women's basketball grow. Has she really brought in fans just for attendance? Or has she also raised the bar for the level of play? And what about the comments from other players, like Angel Reese, who believe they've made the sport bigger? In reality, is it Clark's dedication and sheer talent that's revolutionized the game? In recent years, Caitlin Clark has emerged as a revolutionary figure in women's basketball. Her performances on the court have garnered widespread attention, but this attention hasn't always been positive. Amid her rise to stardom, ESPN analysts, particularly Molly Karam, have been outspoken in their criticism of Clark. What could be seen as a groundbreaking moment for women's sports has instead turned into a heated debate about Clark's influence on the game and her role in shaping its future. While Clark's records and abilities speak for themselves, the media's reaction to her, particularly from figures like Karam, has sparked conversations about jealousy, sexism, and the double standards that plague female athletes. Molly Karam, one of the most prominent voices on ESPN, made waves when she claimed that Caitlin Clark is making a mockery of the sport. Karam's words were stinging and unexpected, and they quickly caught the attention of basketball fans and sports analysts alike. But what did Karam really mean by this accusation, and is there any truth to it? We all know the answer to that. Of course there isn't.
This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement. Targeted by society, targeted by her looks, targeted by her reputation, targeted by the disrespect that they've shown to the WNBA. There's a huge target on this kid's back. I thought Cameron Brink said something really smart. She said, no, they're expecting this rookie class to be perfect. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the last 10 years.
Karam argued that while Clark has undeniably drawn large crowds and increased viewership for women's basketball, she has not elevated the overall level of play in the sport. According to Karam, Clark's style of basketball is flashy but lacks substance, a spectacle that appeals to casual fans but doesn't contribute to the quality of the game itself. Essentially, Kareem suggested that Clark is more of an entertainer than an athlete, someone who can bring in numbers, but fails to uphold the integrity of the sport. The heart of Kareem's criticism seems to be the idea that Clark's game is too reliant on three-pointers and highlight reel plays, which some see as a deviation from the fundamentals of basketball. Kareem believes that Clark's focus on high-scoring performances comes at the expense of team play, defense, and strategy, aspects that she views as essential to the sport. It's important to look at Caitlin Clark's actual accomplishments. Far from being a mere spectacle, Clark has consistently put up numbers that prove her to be one of the most well-rounded and dominant players in the history of women's basketball. In her college career at the University of Iowa, Clark has broken records left and right, becoming the youngest player in NCAA history to record multiple triple-doubles in a single season. She's not just a scorer. Though her scoring ability is remarkable, she's also an incredible passer, regularly leading her team in assists. Her basketball IQ is off the charts, allowing her to see plays develop before they happen and make passes that leave both defenders and fans in awe. The claim that Clark's game is merely about entertainment falls apart when you look at the statistics. She doesn't just shoot three-pointers. She creates plays, breaks down defenses, and controls the tempo of the game in ways that are rare for players her age. And it's not just her offensive game that shines. Clark is also a tenacious defender, often guarding the opposing team's best player and leading her team in steals. When Am says that Clark hasn't elevated the level of play in women's basketball, she seems to be ignoring the fact that Clark is doing things on the court that have never been done before. If anything, Clark is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the sport, forcing opponents to rethink their strategies and pushing her teammates to new heights. But it's not just Kareem disregarding Caitlin. Monica McNutt has been doing the same thing too. She said if Chicago finishes above the Indiana Fever, which they didn't, she would give Rookie of the Year to Angel.
Watch this. I have said this all season, BC. My Rookie of the Year is going to go based on the standing. Okay. Because I think that is how you have the opportunity to measure impact.
And the sky's right above them.
And the sky right now are in the playoffs, so you'd have to give the nod in my mind to Angel Reese.
Again, what I think is happening here is this black woman is trying to play mental gymnastics and find a way to put Angel Reese above Caitlin Clark. Rookie of the Year does not go to a team. That's why it's called Rookie of the Year. It goes to an individual player. So wouldn't it make sense that you would analyze their statistics and analyze individual play overall? Like, this woman is doing all types of mental gymnastics in order to come to this conclusion so she can try to place Angel Reese above Caitlin Clark in that race. When the Fever and the Future are ranked higher than the Sky, I'll be curious to see if she says the same thing. See if she then tries to maneuver to something different.
One of the most remarkable things about Caitlin Clark is her consistency game after game Clark puts up. The kind of numbers that would make any analyst rethink their criticism in the 2021 to 2022 season. For example, Clark averaged 27 points per game along with 8 assists and 7 rebounds. These are MVP caliber numbers in any league, let alone in college basketball, where the level of competition is intense. Clark has routinely scored 30, 40, even 50 points in games, carrying her team to victory time and time again. When Karam and others criticize Clark for being more of a show than a serious player, they seem to be ignoring the fact that Clark's performances are not just for show, they are essential to her team's success. Iowa wouldn't be where it is without Clark, and her ability to put up huge numbers isn't a sign that she's playing for herself, it's a testament to her importance to the team. Clark's records speak for themselves. She was named a unanimous first-team All-American, the first player in Big Ten history to record 1,000 points and 200 assists in a single season, and she's broken nearly every scoring record for her age group. But perhaps most importantly, Clark has done all of this while maintaining an incredibly high level of efficiency, shooting over 45% from the field and nearly 40% from three-point range. While Caitlin Clark has remained largely above the fray, another player has inserted herself into the conversation. Angel Reese. Reese, who plays for LSU, has repeatedly claimed that she is the one who has made women's basketball big, and that the media has unfairly focused on Clark while ignoring her own contributions to the sport. In Reese's eyes, she has been cast as the villain, while Clark has been portrayed as the hero.
People don't understand, like, if they think it's personal, but when I get between the lines, if friends or anything, if my teammate right here went to play for another team, I'm going to be competitive, I'm going to talk trash to her just because I'm super competitive and that's what we do. But off the court, we're going to kick it and have fun. So I think that's a part of the game, and just trying to normalize, like, trash talking is okay, but not taking it personal off the court. And obviously that has become a thing, and people are just trying to make it seem like it's something. But I love Caitlin, and I love her game, and I admire everything that she's done.
But is this narrative accurate? Or is Reese simply trying to keep herself in the spotlight by painting Clark as her rival? Many fans and analysts believe that Reese's attempts to position herself as the villain are little more than a ploy for attention. While Reese is undoubtedly a talented player in her own right, her accomplishments pale in comparison to Clark's. Reese's claim that she is responsible for the sport's growth seems to be more about self-promotion than reality. At the same time, it's worth noting that Caitlin Clark has never engaged in any public feuds with Reese or any other players. Clark has always been respectful in interviews, never calling out other players or seeking to create drama, and yet Despite her professionalism, Clark continues to be portrayed in a negative light by some members of the media, while Reese, who has actively courted controversy, often gets a pass. This dynamic is frustrating for Clark's fans, who feel that she's being unfairly targeted simply because of her success. It's as if the media is determined to find a flaw in her game or her character, even when none exists. And while Reese may enjoy playing the villain, it's clear that Caitlin Clark has no interest in engaging in such theatrics. She's focused on one thing and one thing only: winning basketball games.
People are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
One of the most puzzling aspects of the Caitlin Clark controversy is the way the media has treated her. Despite her incredible success on the court, Clark is often portrayed in a negative light, with analysts like Molly Karam questioning her abilities and suggesting that she's more of a sideshow than a serious player. But why is this the case? Why is Caitlin Clark, a player who has done nothing but excel at the highest levels of the sport, so often the target of criticism? Part of the answer may lie in the media's tendency to tear down those who succeed too quickly. Clark's rise has been meteoric, and it seems that some members of the media are uncomfortable with the idea of a young player achieving so much so fast. There's also the issue of jealousy, particularly from ex-WNBA players who may feel that Clark's success diminishes their own accomplishments. For years, the WNBA and women's basketball in general have struggled to gain mainstream attention, and now that Clark brought new fans to the game, some former players seem to resent the fact that it took a rookie to do what they couldn't. But perhaps the most troubling aspect of the media's treatment of Caitlin Clark is the double standard that exists for female athletes in men's sports. Players who dominate at a young age are celebrated, not criticized. When LeBron James entered the NBA as a teenager and immediately began breaking records, he was hailed as the future of the league. But when Caitlin Clark does the same thing in women's basketball, she's accused of making a mockery of the